Success had given Elon Musk everything: rockets that reach space, cars that save the planet, billions of dollars, fame around the world. But on a quiet Tuesday morning in March 2024, one simple email would remind him of what he had lost along the way. The subject line read, "From someone who knew you before the rockets, Justine." Suddenly, the man who had conquered Mars was 17 again, walking under purple jacaranda trees in South Africa, holding hands with a girl who believed in his impossible dreams before anyone else did, a girl he had to leave behind to chase his future, a girl who had been keeping a secret for 30 years. Elon Musk sat in his office at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. The morning sun shone through the tall windows. Outside, engineers walked between the giant rockets that would soon carry people to Mars. It was Tuesday, March 12, 2024. Just another day of changing the world. "Mr. Musk." His assistant Shivan knocked on the door. "You have something in your personal email folder. It looks important." Elon looked up from his computer screen. He had been studying test data from the latest Starship flight. Numbers and charts filled his monitor, but something in Shivan's voice made him pause. "What kind of important?" he asked. "The subject line says it's from someone who knew you before the rockets." Shivan handed him a printed copy. "The name is Justine." Alan's hand stopped moving. His coffee cup sat forgotten on his desk. The room suddenly felt very quiet. Justine, not Justine Wilson, his ex-wife and mother of his children. This was a different Justine, a name that took him back 30 years to a place that felt like another life. Justine Vender Murray, his first love from South Africa, from Pretoria, from when he was just 17 years old, and the whole world seemed impossible and magical at the same time. "Sir, are you okay?" Shivan asked. Elon blinked. His heart was beating faster than normal. "Yes, thank you, Shivan. Could you give me a few minutes?" After she left, Elon opened his laptop. His fingers moved slowly across the keyboard. There it was in his inbox. One email among hundreds. But this one was different. The subject line read, "From someone who knew you before the rockets, Justine." He clicked on it. The email was short, but every word hit him like a rocket taking off. "Dear Elon, I hope you remember me. Justine Vender Murray from Pretoria High School for Girls. We used to study together at the library. You helped me with computer programming. I helped you with Afrikaans homework. I have been watching your journey from far away. PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, even when you bought Twitter. I am so proud of everything you have done. You always said you would change the world. You kept your promise. I am a teacher now in Cape Town. I am married to a good man named Willem. We have 2 children. My life is quiet and happy. But there is something I need to tell you. Something I have carried in my heart for 30 years. Something I should have told you before you left for Canada in 1994. I know you are very busy, but could we talk just once? It would mean everything to me. With love and respect. Justine. Elon read the email 3 times. Then he leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. Suddenly he was 17 again, walking through the purple jacaranda trees in Pretoria, holding hands with a quiet girl who believed in his crazy dreams. A girl who listened when he talked about electric cars and rockets to Mars. The girl who gave him a notebook to write down all his ideas. A girl he had to leave behind when he flew to Canada to chase his future. He opened his eyes and looked around his office. On the walls were pictures of rockets and Tesla cars, awards and certificates, photos with presidents and astronauts. Everything he had dreamed about as a teenager had come true. But right now, none of it seemed as important as that simple email from Justine. What could she possibly need to tell him after 30 years? What secret had she been carrying all this time? Elon stared at the screen outside his window. Another SpaceX rocket stood ready for its next mission, but his mind was 8,000 miles away in South Africa. Back when he was just a skinny kid with big dreams and a girl who believed in him. He reached for his phone to call her, then stopped. It was 9 a.m. in Los Angeles. That meant it was 6 p.m. in Cape Town. Justine might be having dinner with her family, with her husband Willem, and their 2 children. Children who had never known that their mother once loved a boy who would grow up to build rockets. Elon put the phone down. He would call tomorrow, or maybe he would write back first. He needed time to think, time to remember, time to prepare for whatever Justine Vander Murray wanted to tell him. But one thing was certain, after reading her email, nothing would ever be the same again. The boy she had known was gone. But somewhere deep inside the man who built rockets and electric cars, that 17-year-old heart was beating just as fast as it did 30 years ago in Pretoria, under the jacaranda trees. With his first love, Pretoria, South Africa, in 1990 for the jacaranda trees were blooming purple all over Pretoria. 17-year-old Elon Musk walked down Church Street with his backpack full of computer magazines and science books. The whole country was changing. Nelson Mandela had just become president. People called it the Rainbow Nation now, but Elon was thinking about rockets. He pushed open the heavy doors of the Pretoria Public Library. Inside, it was cool and quiet. Rows of books reached up to the high ceiling. This was his favorite place in the whole city. "You're late," said a soft voice. Elon turned around. There she was. Justine Vander Murray sat at their usual table by the big window. Her dark hair fell over her shoulder as she read. Books about English literature were spread around her. "Sorry," Elon said, dropping into the chair across from her. "I was reading about the space shuttle program. Did you know they might build a space station soon?" Justine looked up and smiled. She had the kindest eyes Elon had ever seen. "Tell me about it," she said. Most girls at school laughed when Elon talked about space. They thought he was weird, too skinny, too serious. But not Justine. She always wanted to hear his ideas. "Well," Elon began, pulling out his notebook, "I think humans need to become a multi-planet species. We can't stay on Earth forever. What if something bad happens? Like an asteroid or a war?" Justine nodded. "So we need backup planets." "Exactly. Mars would be perfect. It has water ice. We could build domes and grow food. Maybe even make the air breathable someday." "How would people get there?" Justine asked. Elon's eyes lit up. "Rockets, but not like the ones they use now. Those cost too much money. We need rockets that can be used again and again, like airplanes." Other students walked past their table. Some looked at Elon and whispered, "The weird kid talking about Mars again." But Justine leaned forward, interested. "What about cars?" she asked. "You always talk about electric cars too." "Oh yes." Elon flipped to another page in his notebook. "Cars that don't need gasoline. They would be better for the Earth, and faster too. I read that electric motors can spin really fast." Justine smiled. "You want to save the Earth and then leave it?" Elon laughed. "I want to save it so people can choose to stay or go. Freedom. You know." They studied together for 2 hours. Justine helped Elon with his Afrikaans homework. He was terrible at languages, but good with numbers. In return, he showed her how to write simple programs on the library's old computer. "Look," he said, typing code on the green screen. "I can make the computer say hello to you." The screen showed "Hello, Justine. You are very smart." She blushed. "Can you teach me to make it do math?" "Of course. Programming is like magic. You tell the computer exactly what to do, and it does it." As the sun got lower in the sky, they packed up their books. Outside, the jacaranda flowers covered the sidewalk like purple snow. "Want to walk to the Union buildings?" Justine asked. They walked up the hill together. The Union building sat on top of Pretoria like a castle. This was where the government worked, where President Mandela had his office now. "Everything is changing so fast," Justine said, looking at the big stone buildings. "Change is good," Elon replied. "That's how progress happens. My dad says I should study business or law, but I want to study physics and engineering. I want to build things that have never been built before." "Where will you go?" Justine asked quietly. "America. Maybe Canada first, then America. That's where the best universities are. That's where they build rockets and computers." Justine stopped walking. "When?" "After I finish school. Next year maybe. I've been saving money and reading about student visas." They sat on a bench overlooking the city. The sun was setting behind the buildings. Orange light made everything glow. "I believe in your dreams," Justine said softly, "even if other people think they're impossible." "Really?" Elon asked. "Really? You're going to change the world someday?" I can feel it. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small notebook. It had a blue cover and lined pages inside. "This is for you," she said. "Write down all your ideas about cars and rockets and space. Don't let anyone tell you they're too crazy." Elon took the notebook. His name was written on the front in Justine's careful handwriting. "Promise me something," Justine said. "What? Promise me you'll never stop dreaming, even when things get hard, even when people say you can't do it." Elon looked into her eyes. In that moment, sitting under the jacaranda trees with the girl who believed in him, anything seemed possible. "I promise," he said. Then, without thinking about it, he leaned over and kissed her. It was gentle and sweet. His first real kiss. Her first real kiss too. When they pulled apart, Justine was smiling. "Now, I know you'll keep your promise," she whispered. They walked home as the street lights came on. Neither one knew that this perfect day was the beginning of something beautiful, and the beginning of something that would break both their hearts. But for now, they were just two teenagers in love with each other and with the future. Walking through purple flowers under the African sky. Pretoria, South Africa, August 1990. For the letter came on a Wednesday morning. Elon held it in his shaking hands outside the post office on Church Street. The envelope had stamps from Canada, Queen's University. It said in the corner, "Dear Mr. Musk, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted." He read the words 3 times before they felt real. This was it. His ticket to North America. His path to the future. But when he looked up, all he could think about was Justine. That afternoon, he found her at the library. She was reading a book about teaching. She wanted to become an English teacher after school. "I got in," he said quietly, sitting down next to her. Justine looked at the letter in his hands. Her face went very still. "Queen's University in Ontario," Elon continued. "I start in January. Just 5 months away." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Around them, other students whispered and turned pages. Life kept moving, but at their table, time seemed to stop. "I'm happy for you," Justine finally said. But her voice was small and sad. "Are you really?" Elon asked. She closed her book and looked at him. "Yes and no. I'm happy because this is your dream. I'm sad because I have to leave you." Justine nodded. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "We have 5 months," Elon said. That's a long time, but they both knew it wasn't long enough. It would never be long enough. The next few weeks were the happiest and saddest of their lives. They spent every free moment together. After school, they walked through the Pretoria National Botanical Garden. The spring flowers were blooming everywhere, red and yellow and orange. "Look at that tree," Justine said one afternoon. She pointed to a huge baobab tree with a thick trunk. "It's been here for hundreds of years. It will be here long after we're gone." "That's sad," Elon said. "I think it's beautiful. Some things last forever." Elon took her hand. "Will we last forever?" Justine squeezed his fingers. "In some way, yes. Even if we're far apart. On weekends." They rode the bus to the Hillbrow Tower in Johannesburg. From the top, they could see for miles. The whole world spread out below them. "I can almost see Canada from here," Elon joked. "Don't," Justine said. "Not yet." They talked about everything. Books and movies and music. What they would do when they grew up. Whether they would have children someday. How they would change the world. "I'll write to you every week," Elon promised. "And I'll call when I can afford it." "Phone calls are expensive," Justine said. "Then I'll write every day. You'll be too busy studying." "Never too busy for you." But as the weeks passed, they both felt time running out like sand through their fingers. In December, Alan's family started packing. His mother May was excited about the move. His father Earl thought he was making a mistake. "You should stay in South Africa," his father said. "Build a life here." But Elon had already decided. His future was waiting across the ocean. 2 weeks before he left, Justine gave him something special. It was a small photo of the two of them under the jacaranda trees. On the back, she had written, "For when you reach the stars, love, Jay." "I'll keep this forever," Elon said. "Promise, promise." The night before his flight, they met at the Appies River. It was a warm summer evening. The water moved slowly past them. Crickets sang in the grass. I'm scared, Justine said. Of what? That you'll forget me. That you'll meet someone else. That your new life will be so exciting that your old life won't matter anymore. Elon turned to face her. I could never forget you. You're the person who believed in me first. You gave me the notebook where I write all my ideas. You're part of every dream I have. But dreams change, Justine said. People change. Not this. Not us. They kissed by the river as the stars came out above them. It was soft and sweet and desperate all at once, both of them trying to memorize the moment. I love you, Elon whispered. I love you too, Justine whispered back. The next morning, Helen's family drove to Jan Smuts Airport. The old terminal was crowded and noisy, people saying goodbye everywhere. Justine came with her parents to see him off. She wore a blue dress that matched her eyes. In her hands was the notebook she had given him months before. You forgot this, she said. I didn't forget it. I wanted you to keep it safe until I come back. When will that be? Soon. Maybe next year for Christmas, or the year after. They both knew he was lying. University would lead to more university. Then work. Then a whole new life. There might not be a coming back. At the gate, final boarding was announced. Elon hugged his friends and family, but he saved Justine for last. This isn't goodbye, he said, holding her tight. What is it then? See you later. Justine smiled through her tears. See you later. As Elon walked toward the plane, Justine called out something, but the airport was too loud. He couldn't hear her words. He turned and waved. She waved back, and then he was gone. Justine stood at the window watching his plane taxi down the runway. Her parents waited behind her. Other people left to go home, but she stayed until the plane was just a tiny dot in the sky. Only then did she whisper the words she had tried to call out, I'll wait for you. But the boy she loved was already flying toward his future, and Justine Vander Murray was alone with her secret and her breaking heart. January 1995, Kingston, Ontario. Canada. Elon stood outside his dorm room at Queen's University. Snow covered everything. He had never been so cold in his life. The notebook Justine gave him sat on his small desk next to a photo of jacaranda trees. He had written 3 letters to Justine. She had written back twice. Her letters were full of news from home. School was ending soon. She still wanted to be a teacher. She missed him, but the letters took 2 weeks to travel between Canada and South Africa. By the time he got her news, it was old news. In February, he called her from a payphone in the student center. The call cost him $20, money he needed for food. Elon, Justine's voice sounded far away and fuzzy. How is Canada? Cold, really cold. But good. I'm learning so much. Tell me everything. So he did. He told her about physics classes and computer labs, about his roommate from Toronto, about how he was already planning to transfer to an American university. America? Justine asked. But you just got to Canada. I know, but the best engineering schools are in America. Stanford or maybe the University of Pennsylvania. There was a long pause. You're moving even farther away. It's just for school. After that, I'll figure things out. But even as he said it, Elon knew the truth. Each step was taking him farther from South Africa, farther from home, farther from Justine. May 1995, Elon's last call to Justine came in late May. He had been saving money for weeks to afford it. The number you have dialed is no longer in service, said the recorded voice. He tried again. Same message. Panic filled his chest. What had happened? Was Justine okay? Had her family moved? He wrote a letter to her old address. It came back marked return to sender, address unknown. Elon sat in his dorm room staring at the returned letter. In a world without email or cell phones, losing touch meant losing everything. August 1999. Palo Alto, California. Compaq wants to buy Zipta for $307 million, said the lawyer. Elon, now 28, sat in a conference room in Silicon Valley. His first company was about to make him rich beyond his wildest dreams. As he signed the papers, his mind drifted back to Pretoria, to a 17-year-old girl who had believed in him when no one else did. He wished he could call Justine and tell her the news, but he had no way to find her. That night, He drove his new BMW through the California hills. The radio played songs about love and loss. Elon thought about the blue notebook sitting in his apartment. He still wrote in it sometimes. New ideas for electric cars. Plans for a space company. Every page reminded him of Justine. October 2002, Hawthorne, California. PayPal sold to eBay for $1.5 billion. Announced the CNN reporter on the television. Elon sat in his hotel room watching the news. About his own success, he was now worth over $100 million. His second company had changed how people sent money around the world. He thought about calling information services in South Africa. Maybe they could help him find Justine Vander Murray, but it had been 7 years. She was probably married now. Maybe she had children. Maybe she had forgotten all about him. Besides, what would he say? "Hi, remember me? The crazy kid who wanted to build rockets." Instead, he focused on his next dream, a company called SpaceX. December 2008, Fremont, California. Tesla was dying. The financial crisis had hit everyone hard. Elon had put all his money into the electric car company. Now they were weeks away from bankruptcy. He stood in the empty Tesla factory at 3 in the morning. Boxes and half-built cars sat in the darkness. His dream of sustainable transport was falling apart. In his darkest moment, he remembered Justine's words, "Promise me you'll never stop dreaming, even when things get hard." He pulled out his phone and called investors, then suppliers, then employees. One by one, he convinced them to give Tesla another chance. By Christmas, they had enough money to survive. May 2020, Kennedy Space Center, Florida. Liftoff. We have liftoff of SpaceX Falcon 9. Elon watched from mission control as his rocket carried NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. Tears ran down his face. 26 years after leaving South Africa, his childhood dream had come true. As the rocket disappeared into the blue sky, he wondered if Justine was watching somewhere. Did she see the news? Did she remember the skinny boy who talked about rockets under the jacaranda trees? He was married to Grimes now. They had a son named XE12. He had other children with his ex-wife Justine Wilson. His life was full of family and work and changing the world. But sometimes, late at night, he still thought about his first love. Meanwhile, in Cape Town, South Africa, Justine Vander Murray sat in her living room watching the rocket launch on television. Her husband Willem was reading in his chair. Their daughter Emma, now 16, was doing homework at the kitchen table. "Look," Willem said, "our old classmate is sending people to space." Justine smiled sadly. "He always said he would." Emma looked up from her books. "You, just someone I knew a long time ago," Justine said. But as she watched Ellen's face on the TV screen, older now but still filled with the same dreams, her heart ached. She thought about the secret she had carried for 26 years, the secret that got bigger every time Emma asked questions about rockets and space. The secret that would change everything if Elon ever knew the truth. On the television, Elon Musk talked about going to Mars, about making humanity a multi-planet species, about never giving up on impossible dreams. Justine touched her daughter's dark hair and whispered, "Just like your father." But Emma didn't hear. She was too busy taking notes about rocket engines and dreaming of the stars. March 13th, 2020 for SpaceX. Headquarters, Hawthorne, California. Elon stared at Justine's email for the 100th time. He had read it when he first woke up, during his morning meeting about Starship, while eating lunch. And now it was almost midnight. The number she had given him was written on a piece of paper next to his computer, a Cape Town area code. 10 digits that could bridge 30 years. His hands shook as he picked up his phone. In Cape Town, it would be 9 a.m. Justine might be teaching her students, or having coffee with her husband Willem, or helping her children get ready for school. What would he say? "Hi, it's the boy you kissed under the jacaranda trees 3 decades ago." Elon almost put the phone down. Then he remembered her words from the email, "Something I have carried in my heart for 30 years. He dialed the number. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. "Hello." The voice was older, but unmistakably hers. "Justine, this is Elon." Silence, then a sharp intake of breath. "Elon. Oh my goodness, you called. I got your email." Had to hear your voice. I can't believe it's really you. After all this time, they were both quiet for a moment. 30 years of distance hung between them like a bridge they weren't sure how to cross. How are you? Elon asked finally. I'm good. Different than I was at 17. But good. How are you? That's a silly question. Everyone knows how you are. You're on the news every day. Elon laughed. The news doesn't show the real me. Just the CEO version. What's the real version like? Tired. Lonely sometimes. Still dreaming about Mars. But now I might actually get there. I always knew you would. Justine said softly. Did you? Really? Even when I was just a skinny kid with crazy ideas, especially then, you had something special. A fire inside you that wouldn't go out. Elon leaned back in his chair, outside his office window. He could see the Starship prototype gleaming under the California stars. Tell me about your life, he said. Your husband, your children. Willem is a good man. He's a doctor here in Cape Town. He loves his work and he loves us. We have two children. Peter is 14. He wants to be a marine biologist. And Emma is 16. Something in Justine's voice changed when she said Emma's name. What's Emma like? Elon asked. She's incredible. Smart like you wouldn't believe. She wants to study astrophysics. She talks about Mars colonization and rocket design. Sometimes I listen to her and it's like hearing you at 17. All over again. She sounds amazing. She is. She got accepted to UCLA for early admission. Full scholarship. She wants to work for SpaceX someday. Elon smiled. I'd love to meet her. Any kid who dreams about Mars is okay with me. There was another long pause. Elon, Justine said quietly. There's something I need to tell you. That's why I wrote the email. I'm listening. Not over the phone. It's too important. Too big. Then tell me in person. Come to Los Angeles. Bring your family. I'll pay for everything. I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. Justine, you were my first love. My first believer. If you need to tell me something, then I need to hear it. Justine was crying now. He could hear it in her voice. Actually, she said through her tears, Emma and I are already planning a trip to Los Angeles. She wants to visit UCLA before she starts classes. We were going to come next month. Perfect. When? April 15th to 20th. I'll clear my schedule. We can meet wherever you want. The Getty Center, Justine said quickly. Do you know it? The art museum on the hill, yes. It's beautiful there. Peaceful. Like our walks through the botanical gardens in Pretoria. The Getty Center is April 16th in the afternoon. Yes. Elon, yeah. Are you scared about seeing me again? Elon thought about it. Terrified. You terrified too, but also excited. I've missed you. I've missed talking to someone who understands big dreams. I've missed you too, more than I ever let myself admit. They talked for 3 more hours, about books they had read, movies they had seen, places they had traveled. Justine told him about teaching high school students who reminded her of their teenage selves. Elon told her about the loneliness that came with fame, how hard it was to find people who knew him before he became Elon Musk. Do you still have the notebook I gave you? Justine asked. Yes. It's in a frame on my wall. Some of the ideas in there became Tesla and SpaceX. I still have the photo you gave me, the one under the jacaranda trees. Really. Willem knows about you, about us. He's not jealous. He says everyone has a first love that shapes who they become. He sounds like a wise man. He is. That's why I can tell you this secret. He knows it needs to come out. Secret. The thing I couldn't tell you over the phone. The reason I wrote the email after 30 years. Alan's heart started beating faster. Can you give me a hint? It's about Emma. Your daughter, yes. There's something about Emma that you need to know. Something that will change everything. The phone line crackled with distance and time. Justine, you're scaring me. Don't be scared. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's just big. Bigger than rockets to Mars. Bigger than rockets to Mars. Elon tried to imagine what could be that important. What secret about a 16-year-old girl could change everything? I'll wait. He said finally. But it's going to be the longest month of my life. Mine too, Justine whispered. After they hung up, Elon sat in his dark office staring at the stars. Somewhere in Cape Town, Justine was probably staring at the same stars. And somewhere between them, a secret was waiting that would bridge 30 years and change their lives forever. He picked up the blue notebook from his desk and opened it to a blank page. Then he wrote April 16th, 2024, the day I learned Justine's secret. He had no idea that the secret had his eyes, his curiosity, and his dreams of touching the stars. April 16th, 2020 for Getty Center, Los Angeles, California. Elon arrived early. He walked through the white stone buildings of the Getty Center trying to calm his nerves. The museum sat high on a hill overlooking Los Angeles. Gardens spread out below him in perfect patterns. It reminded him of the walks he used to take with Justine in Pretoria. He wore a simple black t-shirt and jeans. No fancy suit, no bodyguards. He wanted to be just Elon today, not the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. At exactly 2 p.m., he saw them walking up the steps from the parking garage. Justine looked almost exactly as he remembered, just older. Her dark hair had silver streaks now, lines around her eyes showed a life of smiling and worrying and loving. She wore a simple blue dress that matched the one she wore to the airport 30 years ago. But it was the girl next to her that made Elon's breath catch. Emma was tall and thin, just like he had been at her age. Her dark hair fell over her shoulder the same way Justine's did, but her eyes were exactly like Elon's, dark and intense and always thinking. Elon, Justine called out. He walked toward them, his heart pounding. Justine. They hugged. Awkwardly at first, then more warmly. 30 years melted away in that embrace. This is my daughter Emma, Justine said, stepping back. Emma stuck out her hand to shake. Mr. Musk, it's an honor to meet you. Please, call me Elon, and the honor is mine. He shook her hand, surprised by her firm grip. Your mom tells me you want to study astrophysics. Emma's face lit up. Yes, I've been accepted to UCLA. I want to work on Mars colonization projects someday. Maybe even go to Mars myself. Elon smiled. That's exactly what I said at your age. Really, what got you interested in space? As they walked through the museum, Emma asked question after question. How did rockets work? Why was Mars better than the moon? What about the radiation during the trip? Could they really make fuel on Mars? Elon found himself giving the same answers he had given Justine 30 years ago. But talking to Emma felt different. She understood the technical parts. She asked follow-up questions that showed real thinking. The biggest problem isn't getting to Mars, Emma said as they stopped in front of a painting of the night sky. It's staying alive once we get there. Exactly, Elon said. Most people focus on the rocket, but life support is much harder. We need to grow food, make water, create breathable air. And we need backup systems for everything, Emma added. Because there's no rescue mission if something goes wrong. Justine watched them talk, tears filling her eyes. It was like watching the same person at 2 different ages. The same curiosity, the same way of thinking through problems, the same dreams of touching the stars. Mom, are you okay? Emma asked, noticing the tears. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just happy to see you talk to someone who understands your dreams. They had lunch at the museum restaurant. Emma continued asking questions about SpaceX and Tesla. She had read every article about the company. She knew details that impressed even Elon. How did you know that reusable rockets were possible? She asked. Everyone said it couldn't be done. I looked at the cost of the materials. Elon explained. The fuel and metal in a rocket only cost about $200,000. But we were throwing them away after one use. It was like buying a new airplane for every flight. So the problem wasn't technical, it was economic. Right. If we could land the rocket and use it again, space travel would become much cheaper. Emma nodded eagerly. Like how cars got cheaper when Henry Ford figured out assembly lines. Exactly. Like that, Justine smiled sadly. Emma had no idea she was talking to her father. No idea that her passion for space came from the same source as his. After lunch, they walked through the gardens. Emma ran ahead to take pictures of the city view. Los Angeles spread out below them like a circuit board. She's incredible, Elon said to Justine. You've raised an amazing daughter. Thank you. She gets her curiosity from, well, from her jeans. Elon looked at Justine carefully. Something in her voice had changed. What do you mean? That's what I need to tell you, Elon. What I came here to say. Emma called from up ahead. Mom, Mr. Musk, come look at this view. They walked over to where Emma stood at the edge of the garden. The whole city lay before them. In the distance, they could see the Pacific Ocean sparkling in the afternoon sun. It's beautiful, Emma said. I bet you can see Hawthorne from here. Where's Spasix is? You probably can, Elon said. Want to visit the factory while you're in town? Emma's eyes went wide. Really? Could I? Of course. Any future astronaut should see where the rockets are built. Emma hugged him impulsively. Thank you. This is the best day of my life. As she hugged him, Elon felt something strange, a connection he couldn't explain. Like he had known this girl his whole life. When Emma pulled away, she looked up at him with those dark, intense eyes. Eyes that looked exactly like his own. You know, she said thoughtfully. People always tell me I look like someone famous. I never knew who they meant, but now I think I do. Ellen's heart started beating faster. Who you? I look like you. Justine went very still beside them. This was the moment she had been dreading and hoping for. People say that sometimes, Elon said carefully, about people who aren't related. Emma shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe she paused, looking between Elon and her mother. Something in their faces made her curious. Is there something you're not telling me? Justine took a deep breath. Emma, honey, why don't you go take some more pictures? Elon and I need to talk about something. About what? Adult stuff. We'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Emma looked confused but walked away toward the museum building. Elon and Justine stood alone in the garden, the weight of 30 years between them. Elon, Justine said quietly, there's something about Emma that you need to know. I'm listening. Justine looked out at the city below. In the distance, she could see planes taking off from Lex. People go in places, starting new lives, just like Elon had done so many years ago. Do you remember our last night together, by the Appies River? Of course. I remember everything about that night. Well, Justine said, her voice shaking. Something happened after you left for Canada. Something I should have told you 30 years ago. Elon felt the world shifting around him. Like gravity had suddenly changed direction. What kind of something? Justine turned to face him. Tears streaming down her cheeks. Elon, Emma isn't just my daughter. His mouth went dry. What do you mean, she's our daughter? Getty Center Gardens, Los Angeles, April 16, 2020. For the world stopped. Elon stared at Justine, her words echoing in his mind. She's our daughter. He looked across the garden where Emma was taking pictures of the city. The girl who looked like him, who thought like him, who dreamed of Mars just like he had at 17. His daughter. That's not possible, he whispered. It is possible, Justine said gently. It happened, but you would have told me. You would have. How could I tell you? You were gone. Your family moved. I had no way to reach you. Elon felt like he was falling through space. His legs went weak. He sat down hard on a stone bench. When? He asked. I found out in October 1994, 2 months after you left for Canada. October. Alan's mind raced back 30 years. I was at Queen's University. I was calling you from payphones, writing letters. I know. I got your letters. I wanted to tell you so badly. But how could I put that in a letter? How could I say it over a crackling phone connection? So you said nothing? Justine sat down beside him. I was 18 years old, scared, alone. My parents were furious. Your parents had moved to Canada too. I had no money to call you internationally. Elon put his head in his hands. All this time, all these years, I have a daughter and I never knew. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What about Willem? Does he know? Yes. I met Willem when Emma was 3. He knew about you from the beginning. He adopted Emma legally when we got married. He's been her father in every way that matters. Elon looked up at Emma again. She was now sitting on a low wall, sketching something in a notebook. Probably rocket designs. Does she know about me? No. Willem is her dad. He taught her to ride a bike. He helped with homework. He was there for every birthday, every scraped knee, every broken heart. That's what being a father means. But biologically, yes. You're her father. But Elon, I didn't tell you this because I want something from you. I told you because you deserve to know. And because what? Because she wants to work for SpaceX. She's going to UCLA. She'll probably end up in your world somehow. And I couldn't let that happen without you knowing the truth. Elon stood up and walked to the edge of the garden. Los Angeles spread out below him. Somewhere down there was SpaceX, his life's work, his attempt to make humans a spacefaring species. And now he discovered he had already created the next generation of space explorers. She has Maya's, he said, yes. My way of thinking, yes. My dreams, yes. She's been drawing rocket ships since she was 5. She builds model rockets in our backyard. She reads everything about Mars. Willem jokes that she's more interested in space than planet Earth. Elon turned around. What do you want me to do? Nothing. Everything. I don't know. Justine was crying now. I just needed you to know. 30 years is too long to carry a secret this big. What about Emma? Will you tell her? I don't know. Maybe someday. When she's older. When she's ready. Right now, Willem is her father and that's how it should be. Emma looked over at them from across the garden. She waved and smiled. Elon waved back, seeing her completely differently now. Not just a smart teenager. His daughter. She's incredible, he said. She is. She gets her intelligence from you, her kindness from Willem, her stubbornness from me. What was she like as a baby? Justine smiled through her tears, curious about everything. She never cried, just stared at the world like she was trying to figure out how it worked. She took apart her toys to see inside them. She asked why about everything. Just like I did. Exactly like you did. Sometimes I would watch her and it was like seeing you as a child. Elon sat back down. This changes everything. It doesn't have to. Emma has a good life, a loving family. She doesn't need to know right now, but I know now. How can I pretend I don't know? You don't have to pretend anything. Just be kind to her. Help her if you can. But don't tell her unless you're ready to be part of her life forever. What do you mean? I mean, if you tell Emma you're her biological father, you can't take it back. You can't disappear again. She would need you to be there. Really there? Elon thought about his other children, X with Grimes, the twins and triplets with Justine Wilson. He loved them all. But his work kept him busy. Sometimes weeks went by without seeing them. Could I see her again while you're in Los Angeles? Of course. She would love that. She thinks you're the coolest person in the world. What should I tell her about why I want to spend time with her? Tell her you see potential in her, that you want to mentor young scientists. That's all true. Emma started walking back toward them. She had finished her sketching. Promise me something, Justine said quickly. What? Promise me you'll think carefully before telling her the truth. She's not just your daughter. She's also Willem's daughter. She's a person with her own life and dreams. Don't hurt her because you want to claim her. I would never hurt her. No, but sometimes the truth hurts even when we don't mean it to. Emma reached them, slightly out of breath from walking uphill. What were you two talking about so seriously? She asked. Elon and Justine exchanged glances. Just old times, Justine said. We knew each other when we were your age. In South Africa, yes. In Pretoria, we used to study together at the library. Emma looked at Elon with new interest. What was my mom like as a teenager? Smart, kind. She believed in impossible dreams. He looked at Justine. She still does. What about you? What were you like? Weird, awkward. I talked about rockets and electric cars and everyone thought I was crazy. Except my mom. Except your mom. Emma smiled. She's good at believing in people. She always tells me I can do anything I set my mind to. She's right, Elon said. You can. They walked back through the museum together. Emma chattered about her college plans and her dreams of working in space exploration. Every word she spoke made Ellen's heart ache with pride and loss. This brilliant, passionate, determined young woman was his daughter, and until an hour ago, he hadn't even known she existed. As they said goodbye in the parking garage, Emma hugged him again. Thank you for today, she said. This was even better than I imagined. For me too, Elon said. meaning it more than she could know. He watched them drive away in their rental car. Justine waved from the driver's seat. Emma waved from the passenger side, her face bright with excitement about visiting Spasix tomorrow. Elon sat in his Tesla for a long time, trying to process what had just happened. 30 years ago, he had left South Africa to chase his dreams. He had succeeded beyond his wildest imagination. But the cost had been higher than he knew. Somewhere along the way, he had lost his first love and gained a daughter he never knew existed. Now he had to figure out what to do with that knowledge. How to be part of Emma's life without destroying the family she already had. How to love a child who didn't know he was her father. As he drove down the winding road from the Getty Center, Elon made a silent promise. Whatever happened next, he would not hurt Emma. He would not disrupt her life for his own needs. But he would find a way to be part of her future, to help her reach the stars she dreamed about. After all, she was his daughter. And like him, she was destined for greatness. 1 month later, May 16, 2024, Elon sat in his office at Spasix, staring at a blank piece of paper. He had started this letter 5 times. Each time, he threw it away and started over. How do you write to a daughter who doesn't know you're her father? The past month had been the strangest of his life. Emma had visited Spasix as promised. She spent 3 hours asking questions about rocket engines and heat shields. She took notes like a real engineer. She even suggested improvements to the landing system that made Elon think. After the tour, he offered her an internship for the summer before college. Not because she was his daughter, but because she was brilliant. She said yes immediately, but the hardest part was keeping the secret. Every time Emma called him Mr. Musk, his heart broke a little. Every time she talked about her dad Willem, Elon felt proud and jealous at the same time. Willem was a good man. Elon had talked to him on a video call last week. They spoke for 2 hours about Emma, about parenting, about doing what was best for her. She's my daughter in every way that matters, Willem had said, but I understand she's yours too. We can figure this out together. Elon had never respected another man more. Now, he picked up his pen and started writing, Dear Emma, I wanted to thank you again for visiting Spasix. Your questions about Mars' atmospheric entry were some of the best I've heard from anyone, including my own engineers. I also wanted to offer you something beyond the summer internship. I've created a scholarship program for exceptional students interested in space exploration. It's called the Justine Foundation, named after someone who believed in impossible dreams when I was your age. You would be the first recipient. Full tuition to UCLA, plus research opportunities, plus a guaranteed job at Spasix after graduation if you want it. I know this seems sudden, but I believe in investing in the next generation of space explorers. Your generation will be the one to actually get to Mars. My generation is just building the bridge. Your mother told me she raised you to reach for the stars. I can see that she succeeded. With respect and admiration. Elon read the letter 3 times, then sealed it in an envelope. The Justine Foundation was real. Elon had created it the day after meeting Emma. It would help other brilliant young people pursue their dreams, just like Justine had helped him pursue his. His phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Justine in Cape Town. Emma got into the mid-astrophysics program too. Full scholarship. She's torn between UCLA and MIT. Could you give her some advice? Elon smiled and typed back, Tell her I went to Stanford for 2 days before dropping out to start a company. Sometimes the best education comes from jumping into the real world. She'll love that story. Thank you for everything you're doing for her. Willem and I are grateful. Thank you for raising such an incredible person. And Justine, yes, I'm writing you a real letter. Like the old days. Check your mail next week. 3 days later, Elon sat down to write the most important letter of his life. Not to Emma this time, to Justine. Dear Justine, do you remember what you wrote in that notebook you gave me 30 years ago? Promise me you'll never stop dreaming. I kept that promise. But I never realized the most important dream would be one I didn't even know I had. Having a daughter. Meeting Emma has changed me in ways I'm still discovering. When I watch her talk about Mars, I see the same fire that burned in us when we We're 17, but I also see something new: hope, the future, proof that dreams can be passed from one generation to the next. I want you to know that I understand the choice you made. You couldn't have raised Emma any better. Willem is an amazing father. Emma is lucky to have him. She's also lucky to have you. But I need you to know something too. Even though we were apart for 30 years, you were never really gone. Every rocket I launched carried a piece of our teenage dreams. Every Tesla car remembered your belief in electric vehicles when everyone said they were impossible. Every time I looked at Mars, I thought about the girl who listened to my crazy ideas under the jacaranda trees. Emma doesn't need to know the truth right now. Maybe she never will. That's not up to me, but I want to be part of her life however I can. As a mentor, as someone who believes in her dreams the way you believed in mine, I've set up the Justine Foundation in your honor. It will help young people like Emma pursue careers in space and sustainable technology. The first scholarship is hers. The second will go to a student in South Africa. The third to someone else who dreams of impossible things. I know we can't go back. We're different people now with different lives. But thank you for reaching out. Thank you for telling me about Emma. Thank you for carrying that secret for 30 years. And thank you for that notebook. Still write in it sometimes. My latest entry says, some dreams are bigger than rockets. Some dreams are about the people we love and the children who will carry our dreams to the stars. Emma will go to Mars someday. I'm sure of it. When she does, she'll carry the best parts of all of us. Your kindness, will and strength, my stubbornness, and the belief that impossible things are just things that haven't been done yet. With love and endless gratitude, Elon. Yes, I still have the photo you gave me. I'm sending you a new one. It's Emma and me at SpaceX, looking at a model of the Mars rocket. She doesn't know it yet, but this is the rocket that will take her generation to another planet. Sometimes the best gifts are ones we don't even know we're giving. 2 weeks later, Justine sat in her classroom in Cape Town reading Ellen's letter. Through the window, she could see Table Mountain rising above the city. On her desk was the new photo he had sent, Emma and Elon standing next to a gleaming rocket model. Both of them pointing at Mars on a wall chart. They looked so much alike. Not just physically, but in the way they stood, the way they looked at the future like it was a puzzle they couldn't wait to solve. Her phone rang. It was Emma calling from Los Angeles. Mom, I decided about college, UCLA or mid. UCLA. Mr. Musk helped me realize that being close to SpaceX will give me better opportunities. Plus, he told me about this amazing scholarship program, the Justine Foundation. Can you believe it's named after someone with your name? Justine smiled through her tears. What a coincidence. I know, right, Mom? I think this is the beginning of everything. I can feel it, like my whole life has been leading to this moment. I think you're right. Sweetheart, I love you, Mom. Thank you for always believing in my dreams. I love you too, Emma, more than you'll ever know. After Emma hung up, Justine looked at the photo again. 3 generations of dreamers. Her teenage self who believed in a skinny boy's impossible ideas. Elon, who turned those ideas into reality. And Emma, who would take those dreams farther than any of them could imagine. Some love stories end with marriage, some end with heartbreak, but the best love stories never really end. They just change form. They become children who reach for stars. They become foundations that help other dreamers. They become rockets that carry human hopes to other worlds. Justine picked up her pen and wrote a quick note on the back of Ellen's photo. For Emma's future. Office on Mars. Proof that some dreams are worth waiting 30 years to fulfill. Outside her window, the sun was setting behind Table Mountain, but somewhere else in the world, Emma was just beginning her day. Getting ready for a future that would take her farther than any human had ever gone. The girl who didn't know her father was the man who would build her spaceship. The love story that started under jacaranda trees would end among the stars. That was the end of this incredible journey about love, dreams, and family connections that span decades. We'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. It's amazing to see our global community come together. If this touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content like this. We share amazing tales of human connection, perseverance, and the power of dreams coming true. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Sometimes the most beautiful moments happen when we spread kindness and awareness about the bonds that connect us all, no matter how much time has passed. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video.